3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Reject Bean Podcast. Eitale. How's everybody doing today? My name is Greg, and I'm joined here once again by my lovely wife, Melissa. Holla at them.
Hi, everyone.
Yo, it's been a while. No, it hasn't. It's been 1 week.
Yeah, it's been 1 week.
I was just telling Melissa, I feel like I haven't done this in forever, but it was only 1 week. But that week was long because we went and had a baby.
Yep.
We went and had a baby. So that, messed up our sleep cycle a little bit. So we're still trying to get into it. We had a topic that we were going to hit before we went to the hospital, but, obviously things happen and we weren't able to do much except go to the hospital and have, see our baby be born. So we're going to talk about abortion. And not because we had a baby. It's just a topic that... And we're copying Firelink. We're always copying Fire. No,
it's just a hot button topic.
It is a hot button topic. And we listen to Firelink podcasts. Those are our friends. We know them personally. And they did a talk about abortion. By the way, if you guys hear like a taser, like a click, click, I have a bug zapper outside. And apparently my sink is making noises. But anyway, and my toddler is still awake. So you can probably hear on the monitor. What is that dripping sound? I'm not sure what that is. Well, you know what? We're sorry about that. Anyway, we're going to talk about abortion. A brief pause. There's no easy way to get into this topic. And we were inspired by Firelane because they did a good job, speaking their opinion and stuff. And we wanted to kind of give our kind of take. It's going to be our opinion. I don't think it should go without saying.
It's our opinion.
This is our opinion.
Everyone has their own opinion, and we're not trying to offend anybody.
What's great about opinions is that they should do, it doesn't do anything to stop from having your own. At least that's how I look at it. My opinion, whether you agree with it or not, it should not affect, and I don't want it to affect the way that you feel. So if you are stirred by some of the things that we say, then let it stir you. And if you want to just ignore us altogether, that's also your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. We're just two people in the kitchen talking. So anyway, I want to go ahead and I think, I want to speak for both of us real quick, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. So we'll go ahead and let you guys know right now. Our stance, because everybody was like, what's your stance? Everybody wants to know, what's your stance? I'm going to go ahead and say, I do not feel comfortable with, the fact that a human life, right? Like a baby, a fetus or whatever you want to call it, a baby has to die because of somebody's stupid and poor planning. That to me that shouldn't exist. I'm speaking as somebody who has anxiety. Like I get nervous about anything. I get nervous about people being mad at somebody else. I can hear you doing that. Don't do that. You're messing with the stand. So like I get nervous about everything. Like it doesn't matter. Like if Melissa's mad about somebody else, like I'm anxious, like I'm nervous. So the fact that exists, like the fact that is a thing that's going on, I can't comprehend that. I don't understand that. But and here's where we're gonna start to get. I am also, there's a lot of things about abortion, anti-abortion laws. We're talking about pro-life and pro-choice. There's a lot of things from both sides that make me feel uncomfortable, and I think you and I can agree with that. It's not the whole thing. There's a lot of things about it that make me uncomfortable. It's not just saying like, okay, well, a baby died today. Like that's terrible. Yes. But then people start to get into, when you get to any other end, when you get to the left, to the right, however you want to call it, there's things that make me uncomfortable about everything. Because you're talking about a lot of factors. I think a lot of people start to think, automatically they go into, this is a life, right? And absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's a life. We get it. I'm not disputing that. But there's just, now, you start getting into individual rights, and then there's so many different variables. And if we were just talking about one thing, and here's the thing, everybody wants to split hairs, right? And I could do that about anything. If you want to split hairs, you can find the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Right? And I would agree. I think you and I could agree, right, that there are those, I'm going to go ahead and say shitty people that probably do see abortion as like a way to just mitigate a situation. Like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna have unprotected sex. I don't give a damn. I'm just gonna do it. And
I could always just get an abortion.
Yeah, I'll just get an abortion. By the way, they're not cheap. That's another thing. Just so you guys, they're expensive. You can't just walk off the street and be like, "Hey, I want an abortion."
I mean,
they can
technically it's cheaper than having
a baby long term. No, but I'm saying, like, I think some people,
the hospital
when people say that, when people say, and here's the thing, guys, I have a shitty brain. Okay, I overthink everything, and like I'm always thinking of like, well, actually, I'm one of those guys. I'm like, well, actually, type person, right? So when people say like, oh, it's everybody just wants to take the easy way, I was like, oh, well, you know. You got to raise the money. You can't just go walk into the clinic and be like, hey, I want an abortion for free. Give me a pro bono one, right? Anyway, but we're getting off topic. So when we're talking about, but like I said, if we're splitting hairs, right, and we're talking about the worst type of people, yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to deny that there are some shitty people out there who don't want to take responsibilities for what they're doing, or, you know, they see abortion as like just a tool, yeah. Instead of just being wiser with your sex life, right? With being smarter with your sex life. So I don't want to talk about just one group of people, because here's the thing, guys. Whenever you talk about passing laws and stuff like that, when you're talking about regulations and you talk about like, hey, we're going to try to fix this, right? Understand that doesn't matter what decision that you make, any legislation, any rules that you apply, you're going to leave somebody behind. Maybe not behind is not the right word, but you're going to, and that's not even about upsetting anybody. It's like you're going to either take somebody's side. You know, it's going to benefit somebody more than it does somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm always aware about that, especially when we're talking about something so sensitive, right? People, we have this. I always talk about this with my wife. Well, you're right here. I always talk about this with you. Like, I think the human brain, you know, we have such a gift, right? That we have this human brain, that we have these like highly evolved. I mean, if you want to call them evolved, I don't know. Some people probably say they're primitive, but we have these highly evolved like emotions, right? Or chemical, whatever, what you call them, however you want to think about it, that lets us feel things like compassion, right? Empathy, the love, you know, all the great
anger,
things. They're fantastic.
Sadness.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying. We have all these great things that lets us have hope, you know, that we can all get together and we can, you know, we could do anything.
Also,
that's
our judgment.
That's awesome. Well, that's what I'm saying. So like, everybody always wants to concentrate on that, right? And that's perfect. I love thinking positive, but we also know that as human beings, that brain of us is what makes us also feel hatred and discrimination, and ultimately we have this tendency to sometimes ostracize people that don't think the way we do, and that's the same brain. You know what I mean? And I think even when it is an issue this big, especially when it's an issue this big, when we're talking about something that makes us feel bad, let's go ahead and just admit it. Babies dying makes everybody feel like shit.
Yeah. But
that doesn't mean. But here's the thing. That's us thinking with our emotions, and like it makes me feel bad. But I never, when it comes to those big decisions, I always try to add a little bit of logic to it and think of it logically. Because, I mean, first of all, I'm not even a woman. Yeah. I feel like my opinion already doesn't even count as much. Like if I'm saying here, oh, who's this fucking guy saying like, oh, what does it matter, right? I'm a guy. I'm never gonna know what it's like to be pregnant. But I have 2 children, right? And I'm a father. So, I mean, I have some say. But anyway, I digress. Our 1-week-old is on the couch right now. She's like making a bunch of noises. I'm just like staring at her. She's awesome. But here's the thing, guys. Like I said before, whatever decision that we make, right? You have to understand that it's going to affect a lot of people, right? It's going to affect many, many people. So I think it's important that we take a step back when we start. I don't know why people start saying like, I'm not judging you. I don't know. You are judging. It's fine. People, it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing to compare yourself to somebody else. Like I think it's human nature. You, by the way, my wife's not here. I'm talking to myself. It's okay. You compare yourself to other people, and that's kind of, I think most of us, that's how we gauge how happy we are, our situation. And it's the same thing when we're talking about this type of sensitive topic, right? You kind of put yourself in the situation. It's like, well, I wouldn't do that, so I don't think anybody else should, and I don't like to do that. I don't think that's the right direction to solve a problem. Is to, one thing is to compare yourself to, right? You have to put yourself into perspective. Like, if I was in that situation, I do that all the time. Like, what would I do in that situation? And I'll say it right now.
I wouldn't. Everyone does.
Yeah, and you and I will agree. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to. I'm not comfortable with it.
And for me, depending on the circumstances, I'm not sure what I would do.
Can you move the mic like this? Just like fix it. There you go. That's better. That's perfect.
Sorry.
There you go. Yeah. We both discussed it. Like,
yeah.
I don't.
The circumstances for me is like, my children. They, we obviously consented, both of us, to have our children, even if they were a surprise, but we both wanted children. We're married, but there's like lots of circumstances out there that make me think, would I get an abortion? Like, if I was raped, I would seriously think about it. But I don't know if I could, especially right now since I am a mother. So
right. And do you think it's? Well, that's a perfect example right there, because I think it's great that you're kind of putting yourself in that situation, right? And then you're saying like, hey, like that's a hefty decision to make.
Yeah.
Right. And even if it's a hypothetical, it's really hard to kind of like quantify how much it would dawn on you. Like crap, I have to make this decision.
Well, yeah, but like it's also, I also think about it like, what would my kid think? Like when they ask about, their father, or what have you, and you have to like tell them like, you could choose to lie to them.
Right.
But
you're saying if you didn't go through with it, like if you were raped or something. And there's
lots of women who do go, who go through with the abortion, and also people who go through and have the baby, and they still love their baby, because the baby did nothing wrong,
Right.
It's just the circumstances were shitty. But how can you look at this beautiful child that you love? And even some people have their baby and they can't, because it's a reminder of what happened. But the people who, are able to, and they love their child, how can you like look at your child and you want to tell them the truth and be like, this is what happened, and you're the result of that.
Right.
But I still love you, even if your father raped me.
Right. That's,
and like that's something that's like some serious shit that you're going to be putting into your child's life. And I'm not saying that, in that case you should definitely abort. No, it's a big decision.
Yeah.
But in that situation, I don't even know what I would do, because I tend to think and I overthink, and that's something that goes to my mind. Like, how could I tell this beautiful little child, that their father was an asshole and raped me,
Right.
And if you have the power to be able to raise your child and love your child despite everything that has happened, all power to you, because I'm not even sure if I can do that.
Yeah, because there's too many factors, variables, and ultimately we're not. There's a lot of like similarities. Like, I'm pretty sure you could talk to like a behavioral scientist or something, but ultimately, it varies from person to person. And here's the thing: I'm a big believer in like self accountability.
Yeah.
That to me is like one of the things that I value the most. I think it's because I'm from a Hispanic family, and we always had to like, it's, you know, we always felt like this is why you're getting your ass beat, right? Because you have to, and you know, we as kids were like, no cierto, like, you know. And, but as I grew up, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it's about. It's not about, you know, whether I believe that I could have gone away with it or have like some sort of self-righteous. The thing is that you have to take responsibility for your actions. And I think when we're talking about something like this, we have to talk about, like, abortion is a shitty choice, right? But there's so many simpler choices when we're talking about like somebody who's having sex.
Yeah.
Right. And then get an abortion. We're not talking about rapes and stuff like that, because
we're talking about consensual sex.
Yeah, we're talking about consensual sex. Like, we have to talk about that first choice, and that is the choice that you made to have sex.
Yeah,
unprotected. Right?
I mean, some people are protected, you know, and
still have
and still get pregnant.
Right.
But you know, they still chose to have sex, like, regardless if you are using condoms or if you're on birth control.
Yeah.
When you choose to have sex with somebody, you are choosing the possibility of getting pregnant, regardless.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, whether you're protected or not. I mean, if you're not protected, most likely you could get pregnant. But
definitely risking it more.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a chance. But you know, there are those circumstances that people do try. But I mean, they also have to understand that those birth controls and condoms and stuff like that aren't 100%, and you can still get pregnant. So anytime you have sex, regardless of being protected or not, there's that possibility of getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm. And I think ultimately, because I mean, I think people get always focused on like, well, I just don't understand why somebody would do that.
Yeah.
Right. I think the bigger question, the more like question that's going to keep you up more is like, how do you stop people from making bad choices in general, not just having sex and aborting? Like, talking about how do you stop people from making, and I mean, I think that should be the biggest question. It's not like, you know, why are so many people getting abortions, or why are more people doing this? I'm like, okay, well, why do people make dumbass decisions in the first place? I don't know. You know, I would like to think that most people make the best decision they can, and then when shit goes bad, then they have to make another decision. And at that point, you know, the more bad decisions you make, you're kind of narrowing down your options. It's like, I only have this or this. But now I want to talk about the decision to make to get an abortion, because I think and I want to split some hairs here, and I want to go back to the worst of the worst, right? We're talking about like the worst people, the people that's fucked up, that you just, you know, you would actually just keep having sex, and if you keep getting pregnant, I mean, if I would hate to meet that person, if they're just like, I've just been having sex for years, and every time I get pregnant, I just abort. Yeah. Like, if some person like that exists, like, that's a pretty shitty person. But let's go ahead and say that that's somebody that was like, I'm just gonna have sex, and then whatever. I'm sure that person exists somewhere. Doesn't it trip you out a little bit? Doesn't it seem a little bizarre, right? That some people would go and see somebody like this, right, and say like, that person is like the lowest life form, right? Everybody could think of like a handful of insults for this person, right? Yeah. And think so little of this person, right? But for them to actually suggest or to even imply that this person would be in the right state of mind to make the best decision for this unborn child. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the person you're going to trust. You know, I think it's a little bit weird. It doesn't even make any sense sometimes to me when people say like, well, that person is an idiot. That person should have, you know, there's options, or you can adopt, you can, okay, yes, but this person's an idiot. You know, this is a person that we have established doesn't make the best choices. Yeah. Somebody who decided, I'm just going to have sex willy-nilly, I don't give a damn. Oh, I'm just going to abort, it's fine. Okay, yeah, we're going to trust that person to make the best decision for this child. Which brings me to the biggest thing that you and I were talking about. I think we talked about this for like 20 minutes. Like, we just kept talking about. Everybody wants to talk about the potential for life, right? Absolutely. If we had a magic ball, ladies and gentlemen, if I had a crystal ball and every single pregnant person, right? Every single pregnant person, I can just look and be like, look, this is your child's life. It's going to be full of laughter, joy. He's never going to know what not, he's never going to know what not, he's always going to know what love is, what I'm trying to say. You know, everything.
There's not going to be a day where he doesn't know love.
He's just going to know, he's going to grow old, he's going to be happy, he's going to reflect, and his life's going to be great. Right? If I could guarantee you that, and I was like, boom, that's it. Absolutely, you better do everything in goddamn power to make that kid born. I'll raise it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll do whatever. Absolutely. But the thing is, it's not like that. Okay, the world's unfair. Let's just, I don't, these conversations sometimes just get heated, and I think it's because, I think deep down we all know that stuff is just not fair sometimes. And I think we're crying, you know, we're kicking and screaming because we want it to be fair, right? But how is it fair, right? Tell me this. How is it fair that a family that does everything right, good Christian people, however you want to think of them, best people on earth, can't even get pregnant? Yeah. Can't do anything, right? They just can't. They just can't even start a family of their own. They have to rely on other people. And even that sometimes is a wash, you know? Or the parents that all they wanted in their life was to have a baby boy or a baby girl, whatever. And then the baby's born, just so many needs that you feel almost guilty for bringing it into the world. And it's just in constant pain. Yeah. Right? Well, is it fair that a teenager or somebody who had piss poor planning decided to bring this baby into this world just so she could abuse him, throw him away, kill it, right? After it was born. Yeah. It's not fair. So, I think when everybody's talking about the potential for life, right, we also have to talk about the quality of that life. And whether you like it or not, I know it sounds fucked up. Yeah. And here's the thing. We're talking about being uncomfortable. I am not comfortable with hearing or seeing or even thinking about a baby having to be killed because somebody didn't fucking plan ahead. Okay? But what also makes me really uncomfortable is to think that child has to be forced to be born into a potentially shitty life. And every time, this is going to sound fucked up. Every time that some people say, that person's a shitty person because she's getting pregnant and she's thinking about having an abortion, she should just suck it up, whatever. You're saying, okay, let's roll the dice on this kid's life. I'm sorry, that's what you're saying. Yeah. I know it sounds fucked up, but it's true. Because you don't know. You don't know. The thing is that people get so fixated on, this is a life. This is a life. We don't want a life to end. Fuck yeah, I don't want any life to end. I don't want anyone to die. Yeah. I don't want anyone to ever suffer. That's my perfect world. No one's ever suffering. No one's ever pissed off. No one ever has to even take a shit. Everyone's just always comfortable. But that's not the world we live in. There's people out there who have just shitty thoughts in their head, and they're not planning. Maybe they're in a piss poor situation already. They're not in a controlled environment that everybody thinks like everybody's in this super state of mind where everybody knows exactly what we're gonna do, and people still choose the wrong way. No, some people are just. It sounds weird, but there's predisposition to make a bad choice, right? Because of their environment, because of maybe there's some drugs, I don't know, because somebody raped them, somebody took their decision for them. You don't know the situation. But the thing is, with those types of people, right? And again, I'm talking about the worst types of people.
I mean, there are people out there.
Yeah. There's a lot of shitty people out there.
I mean, there's constantly on the news, where
people killing their newborns. Yeah, dumpster babies and stuff like that.
Somebody found a newborn in a dryer, or somebody found a baby buried in the desert who was raped, beaten, bitten, and these are horrible people.
It's fucked up. And the thing is, again, I don't want anyone to die. I don't want kids to die, especially not babies. I mean, I think I'm not a fucking animal. I don't want. It fills me with, especially I'm a father.
And we just had a baby.
I don't want to think about that. But some of the stuff that some people do, and I'll go ahead and say it. I know it's gonna sound fucked up. Well, I don't know. Maybe somebody will agree with me. I think those are the last people that should be having children.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, they'd never have sex ever. I castrate them.
Yeah.
Or fix them. I think, honestly, if I was telling you, I know this is so stupid,
I think
but like
that's
a
better way.
If you're when you're like 16, you know, they should do like a thing and like do like a personality thing. If you show up to school wearing a wife beater and you have like a rat tail, I'm just being stereotypical. Or if you're like a Mexican and it's like always like drinking or something, I don't know. I'm just saying I've got a bunch of stereotypes with it. You should just have to be neutered, like just on the spot. Like this kid is about to fucking pop out a bunch of babies that nobody wants, or there's going to be a hell of an abortion bill. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds dumb and that's nonsensical, but I just don't want it to be an issue. And I agree with everybody. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm pro-choice, pro-life, whatever. I don't care. I'm not pro bad shit. How about that? I'm pro good stuff. Can we just...
We're neither for or against.
Good. I'm pro for people being responsible and making...
Yeah.
But that's, you know, I think that's that's just a bigger issue to deal with. And so when I hear about all these like different legislations that are going around, it gets dicey, man. Because again, we live in this country, great country. I mean, you could have been born anywhere. You ever think about that? Like you could just been born in like Africa, and you would have lived like 3 days because you had like no water
or food,
or like get bit by a mosquito and just like die.
Yeah.
But you were born here. We were all born here, and we have a lot of liberties. There's a lot of rights. I mean, people don't think there's like, if you think about like, there's laws that the government, like, you know, like the president makes, and then there's like laws in your own state. Like, there's a lot of rules, a lot of leeway sometimes, right? But anyway. One of the things is that, no, you're good. One of the things is that in this country, we have the right to make our choices, right?
Yeah.
A lot of choices. We have the right to choose any car you want. You can live any house that you can afford, pretty much. If you're qualified for a job, or sometimes not even qualified, you can pretty much work wherever you want if they're hiring, obviously. You know, little things like that. And abortion, I mean, here's the thing, guys. If it wasn't an issue, you always hear that shit, like you see like a stupid sign somewhere that says like don't put your finger in the piranha tank, and it's like, why would they put that? Everybody knows that. No, because some dumbass fucking did it. Okay, these laws are in place for a reason.
Yeah,
maybe a couple of dumbasses were out there with fucking coat hangers and they were killing themselves trying to kill these babies, and they're like, hey, shit, maybe we should help people and make this a little bit safely. Which by the way, I've heard somebody like people blame the doctors. The doctors don't want to do that either. I mean, I don't know. There might be some that fucking sadistic bastards, but I'm saying it makes everybody uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so you have to be very careful when you're talking about these things. I wanted to read an article. This is from the New Yorkers. And actually, I'm going to quote this. It says, doctors who perform late-term abortions. Okay, so we're talking about late-term abortions. That's one of the things I wanted to get into. Look. Abortion sucks. That's putting it lightly.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. I don't understand why it's a thing. I don't understand why we all can't just be responsible and make safe choices. And this shouldn't even be an issue. I think there's so many avenues. There's so many things that could happen before this even has to be a discussion. But unfortunately, it's here. So now we're talking about late-term abortion. So if I was uncomfortable with a fetus, right? People talk about non-viable. I don't really go by that. It's just talking about fetus, right?
Yeah. Some
cells getting aborted. Now we're getting into late term, and there's even talks about postpartum, which I'm not even gonna touch that one right now because that's a whole nother podcast. But late term abortions are a thing, or they're trying to make it a thing. No, sorry, I'm lying. I'm trying to remember what I read in this stupid article. Here you go. Kempt signs anti-abortion heartbeat legislation sets up legal fight. So basically, in where is this at? This is in gosh darn it. I wish I kept up with politics. I don't know. Some guy named Kemp. So House Bill 481. It's called the Heartbeat Bill. Oh, Georgia. That's Georgia. So it's made decision. Oh my gosh, I'm doing such a tour. I'm sorry. Okay, so outlaws most abortions once a doctor can detect a fetus heartbeat. This is usually about 6 weeks into a pregnancy, and before many women know they're pregnant. So why did I read that? That makes me, I don't know. As an American, as somebody who has rights, and obviously I'm not a woman, so like again, so who the fuck cares what I have to think, right? That makes me a little worried. Makes me a little worried when the government starts to, I mean, when you have something as sensitive as abortions, right? Like, you're already talking about aborting something, a fetus, right? And then you're like, okay, that makes me uncomfortable. And then you're talking about now we're gonna win a late term abortion. Now I want to kill something that's practically a baby. I mean, it's already fully formed.
Well, then, depending on the term, you know, the baby's still forming, you know, but
right.
Still, it's a baby.
I'm saying I'm uncomfortable with the whole thing. I'm just saying, like, it gets more and more dicey the more you talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, from my experience as human being, as being a human being, a fellow human being with you guys, whenever you start to restrict people, that's when I think people mostly think is that, well, if we make the rules stricter, right, then everybody will behave. I don't know if you've ever been. I don't know if anyone's a parent. Sometimes it seems that the more you pull or the more you push, the more they push back.
Yeah.
It's like holding on to. You ever hold on to a firecracker? No, you wouldn't, right? Because it fucking hurt. But what would be worse if you hold on to it with your open hand, or if you just balled it up and like to a fist? Your fingers are gonna get blown off. That's a stupid analogy, but I'm saying. I get worried when I hear these like super strict laws because I feel like the problem wasn't the fact that people are getting abortions. The fact is that people are not acting responsibly and having safe sex. But I wanted to read you guys this article because there's a little thing, the little blurb that says the doctors who perform late-term abortions have wrestled with the profound difficulties of fetal personhood. They have arguably done so to a greater extent than anyone else. Listen to that. So anybody else, not you guys, and I'm talking about the doctors that actually perform this. They feel like they're the ones that feel the worst about this. Several years ago, so I guess I interviewed a lady. Her name is Susan Robinson, a now retired late-term abortion provider in New Mexico. That's pretty close to here. Who appeared in the documentary After Tiller about only 4 doctors in the U.S. at the time that film was made openly performed late-term abortions. Only 4. There was only 4 people. And then gives you the names. Robinson told me that in her practice she used whatever terms her patients used. If she refers to her as a baby, I'll refer to her as a baby. If she's named the baby, I'll use the baby's name too. She would ask patients, particularly those who were there because of. So basically, why did I just read that? Because, guys, let's stop pretending like we don't give a shit. Okay, that's what gets me a little irked, right? So everybody wants to, and we were talking about this before. It's okay to judge other people. It's fine. It's what we do as human beings. You have to be able to put yourself either below or under somebody to value.
We're always gonna do it.
You do it. You size people up all the time.
Whether you like to admit it or not.
You do it all the time. You do it to yourself, right? You do it openly, but that's fine. It's what we do, right? Who wouldn't want to have as much money as the Kardashians? You know, the only way we can do that is if we judge them a little bit. Like, oh my God, look, She got a fake ass, but she got a lot of money. Man, I wish I had that money, right?
Yeah.
That's what we do. But here's the thing. We're all human, and we're all making these shitty decisions. And once again, these are laws for a reason. But even the people that have to uphold the laws, you think cops, when they have to shoot somebody, you think they like it? I mean, maybe some do, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah. These are things that, God forbid, you never have to deal with. And I just think sometimes we need to take a step back and kind of not think with our emotions so much. Okay? So now they want to stop abortions as soon as they hear a heartbeat. And as you can hear from the article, sometimes it's like in 6 weeks. Some women don't even know they're pregnant at that time. I mean, you've been pregnant before. How long did it take us for? Like 2 months, right?
I've been pregnant before. Yeah.
No, sorry. You have been pregnant before, right? You have experience being pregnant. That's why I brought you here, because you're an expert in being pregnant.
With our first daughter, I found out early, but I couldn't get an appointment to see the doctor until we could hear a heartbeat. Yeah. And it was at 10 weeks that, we went and heard her heartbeat. Yeah. And then with our other daughter, I think we didn't go in until she was 9 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then we heard her heartbeat.
So there you go. So at that point, you wouldn't be able to if the bill passed.
Yeah, I found out, earlier because I took the pregnancy test. Right. But, I couldn't go see a doctor about my pregnancy until I was further along so they can hear the heartbeat. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it worked. If I took the pregnancy test and was like, oh, I don't, not ready for this and I want an abortion, I think you have to go to an abortion clinic as soon as you find out or something like that.
Like as soon as you get a positive?
Yeah, but some people don't realize they're pregnant until they are...
Right. Like in a perfect scenario, you would be like, oh shit, I'm pregnant. Like,
we found out a little bit earlier. Yeah. But, the thing is we had to wait to go see the doctor. Right. But we found out early. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know, some people don't find out until they're, 11 weeks or... Yeah. The baby...
And see, at that point, it just worries me that... And I've heard some people say, I don't give a damn if the person does it himself and hurts themselves. Like really? Come on. It's a shitty situation, first of all, that you have to even be thinking about doing something like this, right? Yeah. And I would like to think, besides those terrible people, right, that if you were doing this, that you had time to think about it and that you probably wrestled with it, right? I mean, shit, we don't even know. There's a lot of there's been people who have to abort because they know that their kid's gonna be born I don't know, some with crazy
special needs.
Yeah, or I don't know, it's your kid, his lungs are outside of his body. As soon as he comes out, he's gonna die.
I mean, there's lots of cases like that where, I think in the second, I believe it's in the second trimester they do that test to see if your baby's gonna come out with any special needs, right. Whether it's Down syndrome or just the general health of your baby.
Yeah, basically. Make sure he's got all his limbs.
And with all that, the doctors do suggest, if the baby does have any of those special needs, they do offer, mm-hmm. if you would like to abort. Yeah. But, some people obviously say no, but some people do consider it because it does, the baby's going to have a lot of issues.
Well, and again, it goes back to that quality of life. Quality of life. I mean, if anything, no, I wouldn't say that person's lucky. I'm saying at that point, that's where that comes into play. The fact that you can, everyone wants to talk about miracles and one...
Yeah,
one in a million
there
chances.
Are chances, the baby's going to come out completely normal,
but
even
the thing
if
is,
the tests show...
You have all this crap already on your plate, and then somebody tells you, hey, your kid might be born like with half his brain. We have no idea what's going to happen.
Or the kid might come out with that butterfly skin disease where...
Oh, the paper thin?
Yeah, where the kid has to be bandaged all the time and is in constant pain. And
I heard about one kid who was like born like literally allergic to like water.
Yeah, there's kids who are... I mean, they can ingest water and stuff like that, but their skin is what... I forgot what it's called, but
it's some crazy.
Their skin is allergic to water, and it gets like irritated and itchy, and they can't do anything about it. 'Cause, I mean, everything has water.
Yeah, I mean, you can go outside.
They can't cry.
You go on a side on a humid day, and you would just die.
No, I mean, well, they can't cry. Hurt. They can't. Yeah. You know.
Can they sweat? Probably not. Huh?
Probably not.
Damn. But look, listen. Okay, we're getting off. We're getting off topic. The thing is that, again, it goes back to that quality of life. And listen, if you can turn that kid's life around, I mean, yeah, obviously, I want you to do it. But the thing is, like I said, just as I don't feel comfortable go ahead and saying like, yeah, just kill the baby. I'm not comfortable saying that.
No.
But I'm also not comfortable saying like, I don't know that person, but yeah, go ahead. I think the kid will be fine. Go ahead and keep it. Force her to keep it. Yeah. Why?
And then lots of people are like, oh, well, you can always put the baby up for adoption. There are so many kids in foster homes and
that never get ever.
Yeah. I mean, because as horrible as it sounds, nobody wants older kids. Yeah. Everybody wants babies.
Right.
You know, because a lot of people think you're like, oh, if I get an older kid, they're gonna be messed up in the head because they're probably.
I know, isn't that stupid? Like, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, how did it go from like this kid has potential, we should let it live, right? To like now he has grown up, he or she has grown up, and it's like, no, I don't want that kid because that kid never got loved, and I don't want that shitty kid. I don't want somebody's hand-me-downs. Like. How did it go? How did it transform?
Really effed up.
Yeah, how did it transform from like we got to save this kid's life because his life is potential to like this kid is worthless. I don't want him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say worthless, but you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to take a risk on this kid.
Yeah, like.
But you already did. Yeah. When you're saying that. I mean, you're not. I know you're not directly going to the. I know. Okay, by the way, we don't actually think that you guys are going to the abortion clinics and being like slapping people's hands and stuff, but. You know, it's interesting. Like, put yourself in that situation, like, or really think about what you're saying, what you're implying, when you're saying that every single life has potential. I would love for death not to be a thing. Well, I guess it'd get pretty crowded after a while.
Oh, it would get really
crowded. We got too much traffic as it is. But I'm saying the quality of life is not something that you can guarantee, even in your own life. Okay, but let's be honest with ourselves. We just don't want to think about a baby having to die.
No.
And I don't want to think about that either. But that's not a good enough reason for me to go around and saying like anybody who gets an abortion is a fucking monster.
Everybody has their own story.
It's a shitty life, man. I mean, there's people who have kids now and they don't treat their kids right. Neglect them. Abuse them. Just because this kid is gonna live
doesn't mean they're gonna have a great
You ever heard that expression? Like surviving is not living?
Yeah.
That's a perfect example right there. Again, this is our opinion, but there's another thing that you were talking. Another law that was passed
in Arkansas.
You said it was passed. You said it was passed, right?
It was passed in Arkansas.
It was passed in Arkansas, and this is an interesting one because I agree with some of the stuff that it was saying, but again, it gets dicey. It gets really dicey.
So this is a law that passed in Arkansas.
Get in the front of the mic. Sorry. I should really just give you some headphones.
Yes. This is a law that passed in Arkansas. It's allowing... It says, Arkansas passes law allowing rapists to prevent victims who want an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just like any rapist. It's like spousal rape, basically. So the husband can sue the doctor or the clinic that is agreeing to do the wife's abortion. Let's see. Sorry.
That's okay. I should have had you highlight some.
You should have highlighted.
I should have highlighted some stuff. I just kind of took your word for it when you said, "Hey, I have this article," and I was like, "Sweet, that sounds interesting. Definitely got to talk about that on the podcast."
Well, no, it's
well, there's a part because you said you already said the part about the spouse, right? You also said that it could also be the parents, right?
Yeah, it could be the parents or guardians of a minor, where they can basically go in and be like, hey, I did not agree to let them have an abortion.
Right.
They can't have an abortion.
And see, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think,
well, I agree that the spouse should have a say, or, the guardians of a minor and stuff like that. But, I don't know, when it comes to rape,
you see what I'm saying, though, right? How dicey it gets.
It's dicey. I mean, well, first of all, if your spouse is raping you, they should...
It's a bad relationship.
It shouldn't happen.
I know, the girl should just give it to him. I'm kidding. I'm joking, guys. Trying to lighten the mood. But yeah, no, that's fucked up.
He has a dark sense of humor.
Throughout
this whole thing, we've been kind of like giggling and stuff.
This conversation makes me... It's because this conversation makes me uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable situations.
I don't want to talk about it. Well, I do want to talk about this, but I want to talk about it in our way.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, so you were saying, if you're getting raped...
But yeah, it's just... that's basically what it says, that they can sue the
doctor.
Yeah, the doctor or clinic, that are agreeing to do...
Yeah. Well, it does say...
procedure.
Doesn't it say someone towards the bottom, though, that they don't actually get money?
They don't get money,
okay.
No.
It's just... what is it for then? Just kind of like, hey, you better not do that type thing?
So, let me see.
Do you want headphones? Do you want to go get you some headphones?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm asking.
I'll be like this.
Do you
I'm
want
sorry.
me to ask
no,
you?
I'm fine. No.
I'm sorry.
You want me to look for this?
No, I do. No. Well, I mean, I don't know if you... was there more? Like, something you else wanted to say about it?
Well, you're the one who wanted me to talk about it.
No, well, yeah, I know. I'm just kind of like stiff-arming your conversation. No, but that was like the main idea, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, you guys can go look it up. You said it was in Kansas? Arkansas? Not Kansas, guys. Arkansas. And you said it passed, though, right?
Yes.
And now, when it comes to... this brings another scenario, right? Because mostly we've been talking about, maybe somebody, already has like a kind of like a crappy life, right? And maybe aren't in the best position to raise a child, right? Either because they're shitty people or because they just, they just have crappy circumstances and now they have to make this choice.
Oh, I found it, by the way.
But, you did? It
says, although the husband cannot win money in the case of criminal conduct against his wife, namely spousal rape, he could still sue to block her from having the abortion. Okay,
so now, like I said, we've been talking about more like, one person making the decisions, right? I always thought, if it's possible, right? If we're talking about like a couple that doesn't rape each other, they decide to have an abortion. Absolutely, I think the father has just as much say in the decision, right? Ultimately, I mean, you share. I mean, you guys are getting money together, taxes and whatnot.
Well, what if it's not a married couple and it's just like...
Right, or like a boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, I mean, I guess...
Or one night stand.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, I mean... This is what I'm gonna go ahead and say something that probably some people are gonna make me think that I'm on the side of abortion. I'm not on the fucking side of abortion. I don't think it's. I'm trying to word this right because I'm trying to I'm trying to articulate it correctly. I don't think it's okay for too many people to be able to when too many people are able to say that you can or can't do something, right? Outside the law, right? When you give too much power to other people, I'm telling you, man, I've seen it done. I've seen people make even worse mistakes, even worse choices, because they feel backed up into the wall. We don't know how many people are actually going to do it, right? Especially we're talking about like one night stand. Like, lady wants to get an abortion, the guy probably doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right. But, we're talking about a couple. Yeah, you're in a team. You're together. Again, we're splitting hairs. Talking about this one other strand of hair. If you're a married couple and you decide you want to have an abortion, yeah, absolutely. The father should have a say in it. But to say that anybody that disagrees, right, any parent or guardian, even if it's a spousal rape, think about it. If your spouse rapes you, and you're like, hey, I didn't want that, right? Maybe you have to have a baby. I didn't want to. I would rather, I'm not ready or whatever the circumstances are. Now this person can go ahead and just stiff arm you and say, no, you have to. Guys, ladies, nobody wants to do things against their will.
No.
Nobody likes to do things against their will. Come on. And that's all I'm saying. Again, I'm not fucking saying that abortion is cool and everybody does whatever the hell they want. No. What I'm saying is that we live in a country where if you're responsible enough and if you do things right, you have the liberty to live your own life as you see fit. Right? And we have these fucking rules in place so people don't go outside and people don't go steal your shit. People don't go and just go in your house and try to murder you. And if they do murder you, I mean, we have a system that hopefully, right, catches them. Yeah. Yeah, and then they serve or whatever. And I mean, we're not going to talk about prison right now, but that's a whole different thing. But we have things in place to, for the most part, be able to interact with each other without killing everybody and stealing everybody, right? But again, I'm bringing back to the question I asked before. How do you stop people from making bad decisions? Answer me that. You can't.
You can't. No. I mean, when we were talking about it, because we've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, like literally, like since last week before you induced, and then to this,
which I didn't really induce, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. We can talk about that
another time.
That's a story for another time. That's a lighter story.
Yeah.
Right now we're still talking about dark.
But yeah, when we were talking about it, there's no real solution. Let's put it. There's no real solution because there's people who are always going to make bad decisions. There's people who there's just no real.
Well, let's go ahead and say this. We're talking about this. Sorry, I'm making attention. We don't know.
Yeah.
What the solution is. Yeah. I don't have it.
Me neither.
We're going to say that. We're not here to tell you guys this is what you should do.
No. We don't know.
This is how we think. This is our mentality when we're talking about this.
Yeah. And I mean there's a lot of people who will disagree with me too, but I think, one way to maybe cut down on abortion is because I don't think a lot of kids are educated. Honestly.
Like sex education? Yeah.
I think, because I think I took sex education one time in middle school and then one time in high school.
Yeah.
And they're very brief. They kind of like, they went through the STDs you can get and, protected sex and all that other stuff. But I think, it's something that we need to put out there, We need to have more informative sex education classes, from middle school to high school.
I'll be a little bit more aggressive with it.
Yeah.
And not teach abstinence. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, abstinence.
It's choice. It's there. I'm not saying it shouldn't be an option because definitely, you should definitely abstain.
You should definitely tell people, that this would be the way for them not
but
to
say
get
that
pregnant.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
I feel like that's, Again, people don't like to be told not to do something.
But, I think they should be a little bit more informative and, have it not just have like one class here, then one class, you know, when you're a little bit older. I think, you know, because kids are having sex at such a young age, you should do it, you know, starting at middle school,
right?
You know, hopefully catch them in time.
But again, we can't stop them from making dumbasses.
And, you know, and take it through, like maybe have more, you know, more classes about it, and making birth control for both men and women more accessible. I mean, condoms are accessible. If you go to a free clinic, you get condoms, and you could buy condoms at the store. But for women, having actual birth control be more accessible.
Well, when can kind of related to what you're talking about, when can girls get prescribed birth control?
It depends. If you're a girl, I think it's at 18 you can get birth control.
Oh, you have to be 18.
Or 16 with the parent.
Okay.
With parent consent, but you can actually get it sooner if you have irregular periods.
Okay.
And you go see a doctor, and the birth control is supposed to regulate your period. So.
Well, I'm wondering if they should make it mandatory for guys to get birth control. Again, like, see, these are the solutions that I come up with. Like, there is just as extreme as some people who are saying, like, they should never. There's no reason to be having an abortion.
I mean, well, they're coming out with birth control for men too, and I think
pills and whatnot.
I think, you know, they should not make boys. They should give some to boys too, because it's not just like, the girl's choice to be protected. Like, it's also the male's choice. But you should inform both of them, like, hey, you need to protect yourself, and you need to protect yourself. Yeah. And if you're gonna have sex and you have no idea where the person has been, use a condom for both.
Man, just need to go into every single bedroom, and if I see a wee-wee with no rubber, I'm gonna smack it.
Smack the wee-wee or smack the person?
I'm gonna smack the wee-wee. Put it on. What the hell's wrong with you? Sorry, I know I'm being I'm being stupid. No, but here's the thing. Again, there's some people who would disagree with you on the whole birth control. My mom.
Your mom would disagree.
My mom and I had a great talk about this. My mom gets really heated. And she was very old school, traditional Mexican lady. And she was like, you know, she was saying, in my day, we didn't even learn about sex until whatever. I didn't even know what that was. You know, I didn't even kiss my boyfriend until we were like 20 something, right? Very like old school type thing. And one of the things that I talked to her, and she kind of agreed with me, is that now, because she was saying, she brought up a good point, like nowadays, like kids can watch porn on their phone, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, and I said, absolutely, I agree with you. But don't you think because sex is a lot more available now, readily available, at your disposal?
I mean, a lot of music videos have nothing but sex.
Yeah. So like the whole sex language is aggressive. So shouldn't we be just as aggressive with trying to inform people? Again, it might solve something. Maybe it'll go down for a while. Maybe it'll go back up. I don't know.
But why not? Not to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
One thing I have noticed. I mean, when we went to school, we had a lot of pregnant teenagers. Yes. But I'm actually noticing that there's not so many now, because lots of kids want to actually wait, you know. Yeah,
well, there was a study that was I'm just ad-libbing.
Millennials.
The millennials.
I can't say
I'm just ad-libbing here. I'm an idiot, okay, guys. I have a shitty brain. I just talk out of my ass sometimes. No, but I have heard that people are having less and less kids. Yeah. Or they're having kids a lot later on. Mm-hmm. So most of the time, people want to wait till they have like the house and everything's settled.
Yeah,
their career.
The millennials
they want the package first.
Are wanting to do that first.
Yeah, they want to have everything worked out, and then they have kids. So at that time, most of them just end up having one, maybe two. Yeah. So they're actually saying that if that keeps going, the population of Earth is actually going to diminish. Like it'll start to go down. But anyway, that's a different thing.
I mean, we do need, there's...
we definitely need less people. I think that's going to happen way after we're dead, baby. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be our problem. But
there's way too much traffic.
There's too many people. I kind of want to wrap this up because we've been talking for an hour.
Thanos had a point.
And we've been... Shut up. That was the ultimate abortion. Well, actually, no. I think abortion means that, you abort it before it's born. I mean, there's probably a lot of pregnant people that got poofed.
Okay,
anyway,
let's just stop.
I'll get it off topic. No, but here, I want to talk about one more thing. And this was one of the points that I want to talk about. We talked a lot. We said a lot of things, a lot of nonsensical things. A lot of you guys are probably already triggered. Maybe some of you guys couldn't even listen to everything that we're saying.
Yeah, especially because we joke and it's not a joking matter, but
we don't think it's funny, guys. We just it
makes
us uncomfortable.
Not funny, but we make jokes at uncomfortable situations, and
it's because
I apologize if that offends
because
anybody.
Nobody wants. I don't want to listen to podcasts of people just being all aguitados, just being here it just sucks, man. I'm just so. It sucks, but listen, I'm gonna go ahead and say this one thing, and then we can wrap this up. We're talking about in the beginning. I talked about the human brain. We have this potential for such great things like hope and whatnot, right? But one thing that we have, and I think people forget all the time, because it sounds fucked up, is that we have the ability to justify almost anything, including death. Okay?
That's true.
And, as you're sitting there, maybe you're listening to this podcast as you're driving, maybe you're eating breakfast, you can probably justify or at least ignore the fact that there are people right now out there getting killed, getting abused, dying because of war, famine, disease, lack of water, whatever, poverty,
starvation,
shitty diseases that are incurable, car accidents, all that stuff. People are dying all the time.
Strange phenomena.
But you justify it maybe by saying, hey, at least I'm alive, right? Or maybe you just don't want to think about it. And you go, hey, maybe I'll go help somebody make up for that one person dying. Whatever you do to get over it. The thing is that you can justify things. And I think it's strange sometimes how people get outraged. And I think it's because it's about babies. But the thing is, I'm not going to go to somebody who had to make that shitty choice. And we know people who had to make that choice.
Yeah, we do.
And condemn them. Just because I would have done something different. I'm not going to do that. And that's the message that I want to go. Because just like people can not... have you ever seen anybody yell at anybody that had to make the choice to unplug somebody? Right? Somebody's in a comatose state for a year. Right? And I think it's time.
Yeah.
You don't go up to them and go, you fucking murderer. How dare you? Why would you do that? No. You find a way to justify it. You find a way to accept it. Same thing. If that person decided, I'm just going to leave this. I don't want to unplug my wife. Just leave her there. Vegetative state. Until I'm ready. 5 years, 10 years, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll keep paying the bills. How dare you? You're fucking making her suffer, you fucking piece of shit. No. You justify it. You accept it. Because ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, those lives are not ours. They're not ours. They're not our choices. And yes, as a community, we can make a change, and we can put our input, and we can have our opinions and whatnot. But until we can guarantee that every single person is going to make the right choice all the time, it's going to be dicey all the time. I don't have a solution. I just think that abortion is one of those things that is part of the human condition, unfortunately.
And there's a lot of factors that go into it.
I don't want kids to die. You don't, and you don't either.
No, I don't.
I don't want people to die.
I don't want kids to suffer either.
I don't want kids to suffer. I don't want people to have to make that choice in the first place. I don't ever. God damn, I would hate. I'm sorry to say that. I would hate to ever have to be in a situation where I would have to make that decision.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I would do. I mean, I don't think I could do it.
Me neither.
I already told you. I don't think I can.
I don't know if. Well, I already said that I don't know if I could do it, but I mean, being a mom right now, I don't know.
It's
especially since, you know, I love these little girls.
Yeah.
So much. So I don't know.
I've always admired people that could have these like really strong convictions. Not the people that go on and yell at people. I'm just saying like people who have like these strong convictions, right? Because there's people right now that are listening. It doesn't matter what we say. They're going to go ahead and keep being advocates for life and saying that abortion is not okay in any situation. And that's fine.
And, you know,
I would agree with them. And any day I'd say, yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be a fucking thing. It shouldn't exist. But then there's going to be times where somebody comes up to me and says, hey, like I was in the worst situation. We know somebody. I'm not going to say her name.
Yeah.
She said her story. She used to go to our church. Or, okay, I won't say that. But we knew her and she told her story. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I could justify what she did. To the day I die, I'll be able to say, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she made the right choice for her. So that's all we're saying. Maybe some people would say that we're kind of being like wishy-washy and we don't want to take side because it hurts. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing as somebody saying this makes me uncomfortable and so yet it shouldn't be a thing. Or somebody saying, well, I really believe in this and it has to be a thing. It's the same thing. We're all taking a stance. We're all just trying to figure this out. So this is it took kind of a serious tone, but I really wanted just to talk about this because we are parents and we love our children and we want nothing but the best for them.
But we also, you know, for any other kid or baby out there, we want the same thing for them too. And
yeah,
unfortunately, some kids don't get that luxury.
I mean, I think people talk about counting your blessings or whatever. Hug your children. Love them. Give them the best life that you can. The best life that you can. Whatever that means to you. And that's all we really can do, guys. The rest of it is out of our hands, unfortunately. So, I don't know if you have anything else to say. I think we're going to wrap this up. No, it kind of took a serious turn. See, we can be serious, guys. We can.
It's just, it
sucks.
It sucks.
But, yeah, so hell of an episode to come back because literally the last episode I interviewed my crazy cousin and he was saying a bunch of crap. He wasn't saying a bunch of crap. I didn't really talk as much. But we are going to keep trying to, we're still trying to do this weekly thing. Yes. I like to post weekly. And I do have a couple guests that I'm trying to line up right now. And I keep saying that all the time. But I do, I promise. You guys know you can follow us on the Reject Beansoup Instagram page, and I am also available on Snapchat. Sorry, I said Instagram at Panico Hispanico. But all those links are in the link in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, if not, if you're on Podbean, then I don't know what to tell you. Get off of Podbean. Go to YouTube. Podbean sucks. No, I'm kidding. I'm so salty because they won't let me go on iTunes. But anyway, guys. Hopefully everybody has a good rest of their weekend or day or whatever, whenever you're watching this. You guys take care of yourselves. It. Yeah, whenever you're listening to it. You guys take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Bye, everyone.